Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Today marks the beginning of another wonderful adventure. We're doing our fourth ever Director's Spotlight in anticipation of Killers of the Flower Moon. Here before the end of the month, we are covering 6 Martin Scorsese films, and we begin today with The King of Comedy, premiered in Iceland on December 18th, 1982. It was written by Paul Zimmerman and directed, of course, by Martin Scorsese. I am Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and is it always a pleasure to have you. The King of Comedy, baby. This was a second viewing for me. This was a first viewing for you, though, correct?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, first time on this one. And will be until we get to, Shutter Island. That's the first one that I've seen on this list. So, haven't seen many Scorsese, and I'm glad that I'm getting them covered now. Before we get to the big shebang at the end. But no, yeah, this was not what I expected at all. Right. Like Robert De Niro and King of Comedy, and I'm like, and then like the only thing I had going into this movie at all was that you were like, all right, yeah, the Joker is like 75% or 80% Taxi Driver, and like the other little bit is King of Comedy, and I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Hold on a second, like
you could even look at Robert De Niro's character in the Joker as Rupert Pupkin, just having succeeded.
Oh, that's even cooler. Yeah, that didn't cross my mind at all. Whoa. Okay, I forgot he was actually in the Joker as well. Yeah, as the host.
The host of the show that Joker shoots in the fucking face.
Wow. Holy shit. Because apparently, Jerry Lewis was like telling Scorsese's like kill my character. Like, I want him to be killed at the end. And then Scorsese was like, No, it's not happening.
I'm not going to kill you, Jerry Lewis.
So that's interesting that he like actively chose against it, and I think it does. Like, it's not that kind of movie, you know.
Rupert
he's
Pupkin,
not a killer.
He's nuts, but he's not a killer. Yeah, he would not murder. He would not murder Jerry Lewis. He admires Jerry Lewis too much to kill him. You know, like even like the only reason the police go along with him is because he's crazy at all. But the thing is that he would never actually hurt Jerry, you know. And neither would. I mean, maybe the chick would out of like you. If I can't have you, no one can, sort of thing. Maybe that would be like. But I don't think Rupert would ever hurt Jerry Langford. But Masha, played by Sandra Bernhard. What a fucking character!
Wow, that was nuts. Like, that, I mean, like, the whole time, to be on that, like, just to, like, be that obsessed with someone that isn't even real. Like, you're playing a fanboy of someone, I guess it's Jerry Lewis. So, like, I don't know, maybe, like, I don't know, it's just so weird, though, to act like that, but then, like, to take it up to, like, 12, just to turn it up to absolute max on just that, like, her house is insane. That was like one of the shots I was thinking about going with is all the candles that are just lit up, like whenever she turns on Sexy Time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my god, that like if those are real candles, that took like an hour to light all of those things. Like, I don't know.
The exact same thought. Like the amount of time, like behind the scenes, it took for them to light all of those fucking candles. And I'm sure they're probably like, I don't know, like how
I don't know. This is what, 1982?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they got electric candles like that then.
I was like, they're like a very how tall were they, and how tall, like before they like they were pretty tall. Did they just go ahead, like did they have like an infinite supply of candles and they just like put them every new take they took, they just went ahead and restocked it? You know what I'm saying? And they were like, all right, everybody, take lunch, we got to light the fucking candles.
Yeah, I mean, that had to have taken so long. And then, like, I mean, yeah, if they're like wax candles, they'll go out, you know, of it. I don't know. That's a lot of, maybe they are fake. I don't know. But like, it was just really cool.
Oh, it was. I was very close to going with it for my shot as well.
Oh my God. Is that her fantasy world? Is that even real?
Like the setting or the events at all?
The events probably, but like the setting around her, were all of those candles there to begin with? Didn't it show the house whenever they were there at first? And it was like nothing like that at all.
I think it implies that she set all those up to create a romantic scene, which I think would be more in character for her than actually having a delusion like this. I think it would be more in character for her to go to the effort of having Jerry tied up and then lighting 100 fucking candles around him. That's my scene, is her sitting down across from him. That's my favorite scene of the movie, because I remember the first time I watched this. I only watched it for the second time. Yeah, I called it Masha and Jerry getting their alone time. Because, dude, whenever she's like, sometimes I'll be sitting in the bath and I'll just think like, what if Jerry's in the bath? And then she like laughs like he's like, she's actually having a conversation with him. And then I get so worried, like, I hope you're not drowning, you know, like, and those kind of thoughts are what lead me to believe that maybe she could kill him, you know, like the ideas of Jerry's death at all being crossing her head. And I know she says it's like from a place of worry, but to actively think about someone's death, you know, you're a hop, skip, and a jump away from taking the leap yourself. I would say. That's true.
She's definitely close, way closer.
Yeah, like if your thought when you get in the bath is like, what if this guy's in the bath? Oh, and then your next thought is, oh no, what if he's drowning in that bath? Like, okay, yeah. Most people don't do that. Most people don't drown in the bath, first of all.
You know, Rupert was more of just like a pathological liar. You know, and he just didn't he didn't want to have anyone think that he was wrong, you know, and he would do anything to make him look cool and make sure he's right. That's like, it still is harmful. Like, he does kidnap someone, he's okay with that. But like, I don't know. Marsha's like in the car. She's in the car. Literally, she was in the back seat of the car at the beginning of the movie and then jumped out and like literally just attacked the dude. I
also love the idea that these two didn't know each other until they both kind of stalked Jerry. You know, like they weren't friends who happened to be.
Was it the car situation? Is that how they met? Because
I don't think so.
Masha does say like, it's only because of me that you even got, you know, in that car.
That's true. But they had like kind of an implied history, I think.
I
don't think there's any reason from that scene alone for him to know her name, and he like acknowledges her by name. Okay. So like, I'd be willing to bet
they have a history. They have a history.
They're obsessed with this man. But Rupert Pupkin, you know, we talked about Masha there for a little bit, but dude, what a
Rupert it's so I was literally practicing saying Pumpkin. It before you came on, and I'm just like, Rupert I can't. Like, I don't know, my brain is like, Pup.
You want to say pumpkin? Yeah.
Pun? Pum.
Pup.
Pupkin. Puppy. Pupkin. Okay. Maybe I got it. I'm just gonna stick to Rupert. Just so I don't really have to try.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
for sure,
man, this like I was getting Joker vibes and like Taxi Driver vibes out the wazoo while watching this. And I was like, man, I don't know if I like it as much as Joker. I think like Joker also has just that really cool comic book aspect to it that just makes it instantly cool. But this I like more than Taxi Driver. I can say that comfortably. I thought, I don't know, it was more, somehow more thrilling, even though it wasn't like this dude's suiting up to like actually go kill people. Like in Taxi Driver, like
there's an element to Rupert where like when it came to Travis Bickle, you feel bad for him generally, you know. But he takes it that step further than Rupert does. Rupert's not a likable guy, you know, by any means, but he's more likable than Travis Bickle, you know, like that's for sure, you know. I think there's an even greater. That's hard to say. There's an even greater level of pity because you know Travis Bickle's history as like a veteran and he's back from the war and. You know, like there's that too. Rupert's just kind of a fucking loser. Like that's his whole fucking thing. He does get that monologue at the end about how his mom was an alcoholic and his dad was never around and stuff like that. So you know, there's a degree there's something there as well. But yeah, those are the two very obviously comparable movies in my head: is Taxi Driver and Taxi Driver and being a comedy. Like it feels like this is like the Spirit sequel to Taxi Driver almost. And nah, man, I also like this movie more than Taxi Driver though. I think it has a degree of rewatch because it's funny. There are a lot of points where it is that part that I picked as my favorite scene. It makes me kind of like guffaw, like kind of like what is going on here, you know?
Good. In my head the whole time, I'm like, all right, Jerry Lewis. Whether he's like actually duct taped there or if it's just kind of like something over him, you know, right. Or something like that. But like, dude just has to sit there and hold a straight face the whole time during this thing. And I love like sometimes the bloopers are like more funny than like some comedy scenes, you know. And I don't know. I have to believe that like there had to be multiple takes of that, and that's just hilarious that. They just had to keep like she had to literally probably like what was she saying, like I don't know, she was like I just want to be crazy or like I haven't
go crazy.
Don't you just want to go like can you imagine doing that over and over again and like just oh man, I don't know, that is nuts. Like that
she starts singing to him.
Oh my god, yeah.
But what about you? What was your favorite scene in this movie?
Man, you know, recently I think I've been falling victim to just liking the ends of movies. But then I step back and I realize, and I'm like, well,
it's the best part of a lot of movies.
It's building to the third act. You know, it's like if a movie's done well, usually the third act is what you're left remembering the most, and is like the climax of the movie. You know, everything comes together, and I don't know. I think I'd say the start of it would be like when he's at the bar and he like turns on the TV and like we actually see his set. Because like I like it is cool to see like him kind of take over the set and and then be called out. But I thought it was just really cool to like see his set and then I'm like wondering. I'm like, wait a minute, is this actually real? Like, is this his real set, you know, that he's doing? Are these laughs real, you know, and everything? And I'm like, okay, I'm thinking so. And I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. And that's like tiptoeing the you know, fantasy world, but not really. It's like, this is probably real.
Yeah, and I don't think we enter delusion land until he gets out of prison and gets a book deal and...
The only things is like every time he goes to fantasy world, he's always in like a colorful suit, and like he only has like one suit, but he just changes his tie and his pocket square, and
Right.
like he only has like that one suit. But then like on the night of his debut, he has that like weird ass polka dot shirt. I don't know.
That's true. That's true.
You know, and maybe I don't know. Maybe he did kidnap. He could have just
taking some Jerry Lewis wardrobe.
Was that Jerry's house or was it
Oh, that was Masha's house. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Oh, Masha.
Yeah, there's no R.
Not Marsha. Masha. Okay, Masha. Yeah, and she was just rich, right? Like I think there was like a line.
To have had money.
Yeah, a line in the movie that was like, "You're fucking like you're rich anyways. Why are you even?" Or I don't know, like something like that.
Yeah, he's like, that one time that I gave you the best of Jerry Lewis record, I didn't even ask you for money, and I'm struggling to pay rent. You got all sorts of money, and I didn't even, like. They're a little back and that was another one of the scenes that I was tempted to go with was them walking down the street and she kind of confronts him like, "Did you talk to him? Did you talk to him?
Yeah, did you give him my letter?
Yeah,
that was just full of cash too. Like she just, why? Like it are people like I mean, I guess those people really exist.
Yeah, for sure.
Like in real, like that's kind of crazy to think about. It's like I'm watching this, I'm like, how could you love a celebrity like actually this much? And I'm like, because I'm thinking of, my favorite people on earth. Like I love them. Like and like I don't know, like if it's music, if it's an actor, if it's just a human, I don't know. Like I love them, but like I'm never gonna go like trying to get in the back of their car.
Yeah,
or like just get through their secretary just to have a meeting with them. I don't know. Like that thought's never crossed my mind.
No,
but like, yeah, no. I mean, it definitely exists.
Well, these people, they're real. They're out there.
Yeah, and was it this movie? Was it from Jerry Lewis? When was this? I'm trying to. He was like, Rupert was saying like how he kind of has it bad, but then Jerry was like, "Oh, well, just because I have money, you think like, you think it's all like sunshine and rainbows. Like I can't blah blah blah. I can't even blah blah, or whatever. Mm-hmm. I have to worry about my friends and if they're even if they even still like me or they're just here for my money or if like I don't know. He kind of just like went in there for a second.
Right.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he was just kicking him out of his house.
Yeah.
He was just, dude just took a taxi to his house. Mm-hmm. Like, how do you figure out where he lived? Or is it just like Hollywood?
Yeah, it's like maybe like, it's a little bit of like they have like Star Tours in New York and
so
LA and stuff.
Known.
But yeah, the chick who plays Rita, poor Rita, man.
How awkward would that be?
Oh, dude. Whenever Jerry's like kicking them out and she's like looking down at her feet like, "Oh my fucking God, are you serious right now?" And he's like, "Hey, Jerry, what's the problem, man? What's going on?" Like he has these like,
oh, dude,
those interactions he has with him in his head. For some reason, he like thinks that will influence their actual relationship. Mm-hmm. And it's no. Oh no, buddy. This poor fucking guy. He's got a little bit of he's definitely got something going on there.
Many times there. He went back like, hey, he wasn't even going to leave. He was like, "All right, let's just sit down and listen to the tape together."
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't take longer than an hour it shouldn't take longer than 30 minutes. He like even just kept going down on the time. And he's like and Jared, he's not having any of it. He's like, get the fuck out. He's like, okay, well.
What's also funny is that like even Rupert is okay with invading Jerry's privacy as long as it's him doing it. Mm. Like whenever Rita doesn't really know that this isn't supposed to be happening and she runs upstairs and he goes, "Hey, wait. I don't think we should do that." Like if he had thought to go upstairs, it'd be just fine. But since Rita did it, He's like, wait, no, I don't think that's okay. But that
yeah.
furthers the delusion in his head is that they are close, and that
he's good friends with
Rita.
Yeah, he's good friends with them. That's why he feels at home at his home. Like, in this, the first time he's ever been there. It's like, that is insane. Like, yeah, like, a little weird of Rita. Maybe Rita's just like, why the fuck am I here right now? I don't know. We're gonna be here for a long time. Go upstairs, whatever.
That first little date was not a good like, he says he loves her as he's dropping her off. Her off.
I just want to do good for you. Yeah. He was like, I just want to like what the is this their first date? I'm like, what the hell?
They knew each other in high school.
Okay. She does say, like, wow, finally, after all this time, it finally took you this long to ask me on a date. So maybe there's like a long history there, but he's just been fucking so crazy and so involved in his stand-up that he never.
Regardless,
she was just a bartender.
Even if they have a long history that starts in high school, it ended in high school. Because when he greets her at the bar, he's like, do you remember me? And she's like,
really?
Rupert Pupkin, that whole thing. Yeah, like she does not, I mean, she remembers him, but it's not like he asks her if she remembers him. And if they were close in high school, she remembers him. You know what I'm saying? But a fun little fact about the actress for Rita there, Diane Abbott, was Robert De Niro's first wife. They were married at the time. They met on the set of Taxi Driver, because she played the clerk, the receptionist, the box office clerk at the porn theater.
Nice. This is a better upgrade. Here
I would say so. Much larger role.
Yeah,
but yeah, they were married from 1976 to 1988.
Man, this De Niro verse is getting kind of intricately wound. We got a real life wife in 2 movies, and then you have the De Niro jump. He's the Travis Bickle crazy, and then he's the Rupert Pupkin crazy. But then he's the actual talk show host and Joker. He's graduated. What's next? And I don't know what the next step would be. De Niro plays the crazy Masha role next. That's what we got to see.
We got him in Killers of the Flower Moon here in a little bit.
He's the crazy uncle. The crazy uncle in
he's a little bit of the crazy uncle. But not like this. He's just very wealthy and powerful.
Yeah. And in this, Travis Bickle's way more dangerous. Like, I don't know, that dude was an actual danger to other people. But Rupert's just doing a talk show in his mom's basement, and he's actually acting like Jerry's there, and like the other co-host or whatever, talking to cardboard cutouts as if they're real.
Yeah, he doesn't have enough influence to be dangerous.
Yeah, I don't know. He didn't really seem that he actually wanted to hurt anyone ever.
No.
He's just not that.
Even when he's going about the kidnapping and stuff, whenever when he jumps out of the car and the gun flies on the ground, it's not a real gun. It clicks whenever you pull the trigger. They very clearly never had any intention to kill Jerry, but whenever he's got the cue cards for him and he's wearing the sunglasses and it's I have a gun, and then it flips, he's to my head, and it's all really big letters, so dude,
acting like he's gonna be 40 feet away off camera to show him the cue cards. No, he's literally 2 feet away from him.
Got some that are upside down, out of order.
Yeah, and acting like they're wearing disguises as if he doesn't know who these people are.
Yeah, these two who have been consistently nagging him for who knows how long.
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, you got to give him a little bit of credit. Dude was a hustler at the beginning. He He doesn't go in any shows, whatever, but like he goes in that office and he's like, I'm getting my voice heard, whatever. They're like, we need a tape. He goes back, immediately makes the tape. I mean, he's got nothing else going on in his life, you know, or whatever. So like, that's all he's got to do. But like,
he's on the grind.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, I'll wait. Oh, well, we might not hear that until Monday. I'll still wait. I'm like, oh my God, Rupert. Dude, you are not you are not going to stay there past closing hours. You are not going to sleep there. They're not going to let you do that. You know, like there's literally there's a little something going on there. Like I don't know,
obviously,
like
yes.
just a little socially unaware of a few things. But man, I don't know. It's like a teddy bear version of Travis Bickle.
And that's the thing is that like he's scary. Rupert is. Because of this sort of unhinged incessantness,
yeah, like,
know, he's just...
You don't know if he's for real. Like, I mean, yeah, it's like... I mean, this dude's probably joking, but, like, on the off chance, he's, like, really for real. Like,
yeah, we should probably do something about this guy.
Mm-hmm. And, like, he did actually kidnap him, too. Like, I mean, that actually...
No, yeah, like, that's... But that's the thing, is that even that, it just... His whole thing was like he wanted to get his break. He felt like this. It's not. He doesn't, and this makes him dangerous. But like he doesn't think of it as, morally wrong. It's just a step on his journey. He's like, if I can get this done, well then nobody will like. That's what the delusion at the end is. He's like, if I can get through this is what he thinks will happen. He's like, well, then I'll get out. It'll be the biggest story in America. I'll get a book deal and I'll have posters and I'll host my own show, the Rupert Pupkin Show, ladies and gentlemen, Rupert Pupkin, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, Rupert Pupkin. That whole part at the end, dude.
And like, cause the books, like, it was all so over the top, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, already it's going off a little bit, but I'm like, maybe. I'm like,
the
okay.
The scary thing is that you think it's possible.
I'm like, okay, this does make sense. And then it's like, he's on every single magazine that's on like the stand. And then he's on every single piece of merch. And I'm like, okay, this is getting a little weird. And then like, when they start repeating his name, I'm like, okay. I'm like, wow. What a moment that like was in the movie.
Great fucking ending. Like,
oh man.
What kind of leaves me astonished about this movie is that I haven't seen Gangs of New York. What we have lined up right now is this, The King of Comedy, After Hours on Friday, Casino next Wednesday. What's next Friday after that?
Gangs of New York after Casino.
Gangs of New York, then Shutter Island, and then The Irishman.
Mm-hmm. That is right.
I've seen every single one of those except Gangs of New York, which is why I couldn't remember it. Crazy enough, I think this might be my least favorite of all of those.
Man,
like we have a lot to look forward to, and like we, as is exemplified by our top 100 and our Wes director spotlight. Obviously, me and you we love all these movies, but we have different tastes and different loves for each of them. So, like, I'm intrigued to find out if that's the case for you as well. This is a great place to start with Scorsese.
I liked it. Yeah, I don't know. I've heard people say that this is like unlike a lot of his other movies.
This is a pretty unique Scorsese flick.
Yeah,
this is so niche. My dad loves movies, and he likes Scorsese. Like, he's going to be on for that Gangs of New York episode because he loves Gangs of New York. And if there's a new Scorsese film, he's like, he's not a theater guy, but like, as soon as that's available, I want to go see it. I asked him if he'd ever seen The King of Comedy, and he'd never even heard of The King of Comedy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Huh. Oh, I didn't think of it as that kind of a movie at all. Yeah, 80. Is this like, what has Scorsese really done before this, or is this like really his first?
Taxi Driver, Mean Streets.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Taxi Driver, was that
76?
Man, holy fuck. Okay. And then wow. Yeah, he's been doing it.
Long fucking time, man. Yeah, Mean Streets was the only one that I felt kind of bad leaving out. because it's his debut film, at least it's considered his debut film. I don't think it technically is. But New York in 77, The Last Waltz in 78, Raging Bull in 1980. That's a good one as well. Another De Niro, Scorsese. That's a really good one. But yeah, it's kind of astonishing that this is the fourth collaboration fifth, because De Niro was in Mean Streets. De Niro's in Mean Streets, Taxi Driver, New York, Raging Bull, and The King of Comedy.
Holy shit, he's 5 for 5.
They'd been an established duo up to this point.
Wow. Yeah, I like that. Oh my god, the poster for this movie has him literally in the Joker card. They predicted the future, dude.
Right, yeah.
This is. I mean, it makes sense, He is,
Joker comedy. You also got Jerry Langford in the King card.
Yeah.
Nice and clever. Yeah, I like the poster for this movie. It's a good looking one. But the shot on IMDb at the very top for the play trailer, it's a top contender for me for a favorite shot.
When did that happen?
That's whenever he's rehearsing his tape. That's when he goes to record his tape. And he goes up to the crowd. You don't even hear the jokes because he hears laughter in his head as he's doing it.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, that is a good shot. I kind of forgot about that one. I think, I don't know. I was. And it's weird
because it's like there's like white walls on the side of him, and the lighting is really, really dramatic, and it feels like this isn't the actual setting where this is taking place, but he does have that wall where he lives.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, man.
Yeah, that is weird. Yeah, like what happened there? Yeah, that
might be my favorite shot. I love that shot.
That was cool. Yeah, I was just going with. I was going to struggle and come up with shots for this. That was one that I saw on the IMDb pictures. I was trying to think of when it happened in the movie, but then the other, I don't know, just when he came out, like they introduced him and he was just in that funky ass suit and he's just doing his little arm waves. I thought it was just, I don't know. I like when they go back to the fuzzy TV kind of look within the movie, and then because it starts out like that. It starts out on Jerry's show, and I'm like, is this what 83 movies look? I'm like, no fucking way. I'm like,
the TV. That's what the TVs look like.
But I mean, I thought the whole movie was like that. I thought the whole movie, and I'm like, wait a minute, no shot. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm dumb. It's just the show. It's a show in the movie. But yeah, I don't know. I thought him just coming out and then doing his little bow on the purple backdrop, purplish reddish backdrop thing with his suit, and that's, I don't know. I'm like, I don't think it was Fantasyland. I think that.
No, I think he actually went on the Jerry Langford show. I think he killed. I think he had a great night. I think that people thought he was funny. Because, I mean, I'm not laughing out loud. Stand-up comedy, it's kind of like, when it comes to stand-up, I have to have kind of an infectious environment to laugh. That's why being at a stand-up comedy show is so much fun, is because the funny stuff is funnier. The not funny stuff, however, is much unfunnier because no one laughs. So there's it's interesting, but I love watching stand-up comedy with my dad, because if my dad laughs at something, it makes me laugh at something too, because it emphasizes how funny it is. I don't laugh at any of the jokes he tells at the end of this movie, but I do get how an audience would. It's this very, when it comes to these talk shows, they don't do a lot of this anymore. Stand-up comics taking up a 10-minute slot on a show.
True. Yeah.
Because we don't have many variety shows anymore, which is more what originally the Jerry Lewis show was, and then the Jerry Langford show and this. They're more variety shows where you can afford to give 10 minutes to somebody. But
you don't really have shows like that anymore, huh?
Not for real.
Yeah, late night shows. I remember kind of watching those all the time. Like it felt kind of like adult.
And they still have them. They're just
too. Yeah. Are they just on like YouTube now? Or are they like actually still on network?
They're still on networks like NBC and ABC and Jimmy Fallon just got into some hot water because his fucking staff is extremely unhappy and he's an unhinged person. Like
okay.
James Corden, Conan had a late night show until a few years ago. Like, but yeah, man. Like, and so I think he did go up there. I think he killed. I think he had a great set and a good enough set to be able to go to the bar, take pride in it, and everyone in the bar kind of admire him. You know, that's what keyed me into it being real, is that like Rita was like, oh shit, yeah, that was you. And she's kind of like, and the guy at the end of the bar was like, that was the guy on the guy in the thing, you know?
It's the same guy that was on the TV. It's like, there was a lot of really like just funny moments like that in there. I was trying to think a few like the other just like gags that were in it.
I got Jerry tied up somewhere in the middle of the city. You laugh. You think I'm kidding, but tomorrow you'll see I was not joking. And
okay.
And everyone like they keep laughing, but there becomes this sort of like hesitation. They're like, "Ha, wait."
Why would you say that? Wait, why would you like double down on it like that? That's really weird.
But then he goes, "Better to be king for a night than a schmuck for life."
I mean, come on. I was waiting the whole movie for a line to land, and then like when he said that, I'm like,
it's the obvious. It's the obvious pick. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, come on. I'm like, yeah, that was pretty fucking sick. Like, I don't know. Maybe this dude has had this set. Just this is what he's been practicing in his basement.
I think that's why we don't hear the practice set.
Again. Yeah, like he's just been practicing the same set over and over. And yeah, I don't know. He got like it killed. You know, and now he's got prison to think of a whole new set,
a whole bunch of jokes,
come back and land bigger than ever.
Well, and that's what's crazy is that the ending, while I think it's a delusion, I think it's interesting that Scorsese in 1982 is making a commentary on how quick the public is to forgive people. You know, there's a short memory for people who do terrible things in Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I think it was definitely the fantasy world and it wasn't real, but it made you believe it for a split second. And that's enough for you to be like, even if it was completely fantasy from the get go, you could still be like, oh wait, like in the real world, like this is still definitely happening. Like this is like, is not far off. And like if this were to actually go down in real life, like who's to say that he actually doesn't come out of prison more popular than he ever was?
I 100% guarantee he would. Like that's what's crazy is that if this happened now, this guy is fucking famous. You know what I'm saying? Like if for example on Jimmy Fallon, if this guy went on Jimmy Fallon, kidnapped Jimmy Fallon, do you know how many people would fucking love this guy for kidnapping Jimmy Fallon? I think that I would kind of be like, this guy's kind of fucking hilarious. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'll wait 5 years for him to get out of prison, and then like you know, like we'll forget about him for 5 years, but then in 5 years it's gonna be the coolest shit ever. You know, we're gonna be like, oh my god, it's that guy that kidnapped Jimmy Fallon.
Exactly. Like, he's finally releasing a book. I gotta read that book.
Yeah, he's got his own Netflix short now. Holy shit.
He's got his own. Netflix gave him a deal.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd much rather live in the Robert Pumpkin world. Fuck, now I'm getting Rupert wrong.
His name is Robert De Niro. It's an understandable mistake there.
Oh,
and so is Pupkin.
Oh my god. So when I finally thought I got Pupkin right, okay. I'd much rather live in just the King of Comedy world rather than the Taxi Driver world.
Oh, yeah.
What I was trying to say is that this is, as a spectator, it'd be fun, you know, just to watch this all play out. Like, to be in that audience is insane. To be in,
furthermore, I think giving credit to Robert De Niro is that these could conceivably exist in the same realm. Robert De Niro this is a completely different character than Travis Bickle. You know what I'm saying? He looks completely different. He acts completely different. This is probably, and this is why he gets my performance, maybe the best role Bob De Niro has ever done. You know?
It was good. No, it was really good. And I don't know, he was so consistent the whole time. Like, he was completely in this character. Mm-hmm. Like, it's unlike anything you ever see from, I don't know, like, I guess Travis Bickle is the closest thing, that's for sure. But I don't know, this just, it was like...
It's not as sinister by any means, you know? Like, and that's why you can also believe the audience forgiving him at the end. Mm-hmm. Is because he does have us getting that behind the scenes look at him, as far as like Rupert Pupkin going on TV and the audience loving him versus us watching everything that got him on TV. Like, you don't root for him, but you're like, you start to get to a place where you're like, give the guy a break, you know, like, come on, let him just perform his harmless little comedy bit and get the fuck on. I understand that people have to pay their dues and stuff, and it could set a bad precedent, and if they do this, then what's going to stop the next comic from doing it? But like, at
least he's not demanding like $500 million.
Yeah, you know? He's like, I think he does this shit for free. He's not looking to get paid. He's like, let me hop on
airtime, a free show. You know, he's giving you a free, you know, he's not even demanding to be paid at all. It's just, he wants the recognition. That's all he's there for. I was trying to think of like a world that it is the same. That, Rupert goes to jail and they're like, no, you need to go to the army to get right. So he goes to the army. He is the soldier.
This could conceivably be set. Yeah, I guess television is in color.
Oh, fuck. He's a time traveler.
Yeah.
Maybe. This is how it clears it up. He goes into witness protection because he's so famous as Rupert, that he has to go into witness protection, that he becomes somehow before
Travis. He becomes Travis Bickle in the same city as he was Rupert, mind you.
Yeah. That's impressive. Hidden in plain sight.
Exactly. That's how they'll never look for me here. I'm a taxi driver. And I remember there's an episode of Sherlock Holmes whenever one of the murderers is a taxi driver, and they're onto it that it was somebody who traveled in this taxi, but because he's a faceless man on the other side of the window, you never even think of him. Which means taxi driver in New York might be the best possible place for somebody in witness protection, by the way.
Yeah. No one pays attention to the taxi driver at all.
Shame. It's a shame.
Wow. You know, you can get anywhere with a taxi or a pizza delivery thing. And then even further, if you have like a yellow vest, like work vest and a hard hat, go in anywhere you want. Like you can just go anywhere. Like,
they'll let you in. They'll be like, this person clearly has things to do.
Yeah. And like, honestly, like even what Rupert did, like, just if you don't have an appointment anywhere, you can just go there. Like, you can actually still go there and just be like, I demand to see this person right now. Like, if you're weird enough, they'll probably just be like, all right, dude, whatever. Like, let me just go get him. You know, like I don't know.
There's also like, if you're nice enough, maybe too. You know, like if you walk in there and you're just like, hey, sorry, I don't have an appointment, but like I just really want to see this guy. Can I? Is that cool? Can I talk to him for a second? They're like, well, he's busy until this time. Cool, I can wait. And they're like, yeah, sure, go ahead, sit over there. You know, if you're not like no, he's a personal friend. He told me to call him. You know, he told me to call him. Believe me, he told me to call him. And then Jerry's like, yeah, we don't fucking know this guy. And they're like, are you sure? And he's like, yep, I know for sure that they know me. You know, like
yeah, he just kept doubling down, dude. Dude's just a pathological liar. You know. He just has to keep it going, you know. And then he's digging a hole and he's too far deep. He just
keeps digging. He's like, maybe one day I'll reach the other side of the earth.
Man, and that's the thing is like even whenever he's getting kicked out of Jerry's house, like you'd expect it to be like annoying, like for him, like the amount of times he comes back and is like begging Jerry to like just listen, but like it's so weird. It's like it's not like annoying to watch at all. It's like encapsulating almost. Like you're like oh my god, this dude's still going. Like it's like holy shit, this dude is like it's just you're just like in awe of like the insanity of like just what's going on. Like it's so simple what's happening. You know, like it's very simple.
This is a pretty like compared to stories to come from Scorsese that we are going to cover. This is small fucking potatoes. Maybe until Shutter Island, but like other stuff is pretty like After Hours. I know you haven't seen it, but that's probably for my money Scorsese's weirdest fucking movie. I absolutely adore it.
Sick.
And then Casino, that really happened, but it's like mob bosses in Las Vegas running casinos, and like it's like that's a lot different than some fucking loser who's trying to make it in comedy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just like why? You know, like this is just a movie for a movie, like to make a movie. I don't know. Like he just like did De Niro. Did like Scorsese just like did he write this or is this?
No, it was Paul D. Zimmerman.
Okay, I don't know. Yeah, this one's just movie for movie's sake. You know, just like because even the point of the movie, you know, like. Is it that people turned a blind eye to some weird people? Like, is that the point? That, like, at the end, like, it's actually believable that might happen? Is that the whole point of the movie? Or, like...
I don't think so. I think that that's interesting. I hadn't really thought about the moral of the story. You know, like, what is Scorsese trying to say with The King of Comedy? And I think it is that, like, I'd be willing to bet it is sort of this, like, there are a bunch of motherfuckers out here who got famous, and you like this is really just according to Rupert, his journey to becoming famous. That's the entire plot for him. You know, as far as from the main character's perspective, it is his journey to becoming the most famous, the king of comedy. You know, I don't know, man.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like in 82 if there's anything like just around like the time that's like pertinent or not. But like I don't know, I get like, you know, and every movie doesn't necessarily need a moral, you know. It is just entertainment. And like I mean it was funny. It was like it's just fun to watch. It's only until like the very end that there might be some sort of moral there in the first place.
Well, Scorsese generally makes movies about like comparing this to like Wolf of Wall Street. You can tell Scorsese has a bit more empathy for Rupert Pupkin than he does Jordan Belfort. You know, like the way they make the movie, you can tell he does not fucking like Jordan Belfort, or at least the character version that he's created for him, and I'd be willing to bet the real life version of him as well. But there's almost like this forgiving, again, pity that you have for Rupert Pupkin. That you're kind of like, man, this poor guy. He's weird as fuck. All we saw was him. Every single step was him pursuing this. What has he done before this? Like, is he just like a day to day, a pretty nice, normal guy? But then you start talking about Jerry Langford, and it's like, oh wait, this guy's a fucking weirdo. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ever had a coworker who was like a really, really seemed like a genuinely nice person? You talk to him, normal enough person, and then one day you bring something up, and it's like, oh, this person's they're into this, or they are not into that, and that's fucking weird.
Yeah, didn't think about what he did before.
Well, I just mean to say, like, is he making a point about what normal people are capable of? You know, like, is he making a point about how Rupert isn't that different from any person? He's just taking it a step further. Like, we all, the laughs at the end, the hero worship that they have for Rupert at the end, is it because we all long to have the balls that Rupert had to do what he did, and we want to admire somebody like this, or we want to be admired like that? Like, that's
yeah.
I don't know, man.
I could see that. Yeah, just like because there's like obvious social cues that are just broken on purpose, and it's like it's just because that's how we think everything. Like I don't know, that's just what we've made acceptable. Like obviously going over to someone's house with them like uninvited, wrong. But like back in the day, like I don't know, that just wasn't really like a thing at all. Like you just showed up. I'm talking like back in the day. Like I mean like not before like modern cities and shit. But like I don't know. It's new concepts and stuff. And maybe it's just like a piece, like a time capsule. I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't know. It is a weird trying to pull like a meaning out of the movie is kind of weird.
No, I mean like they show consistently that Rupert, I mean the way he interacts with Rita is also not good.
That's
you know,
true. Yeah,
he is. But that's the thing is that like, is this just what he's obsessed over? Like, if he were to occupy his time with something else, would these obsessions dissipate? Like, you know, and now is he making a point about comedians pursuing the dream of comedy and how it's like, if you want to make it in comedy, you have to dedicate your life to that. You know, like that has to be everything you think about. Especially when you're trying to make it. Like, it's already hard to make it as an actor or an actress. There are even less stand-up comics. You know what I'm saying? That are like going on tour, you know?
That's true. I mean, there's like
4 late night shows, and that's what Rupert wants to be. He wants to be that guy. He wants to be Conan. He wants to be Letterman. He wants to do that.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. No, because I was thinking like the only thing to kind of pull out was just the like people turning a blind eye to like Hollywood and the sort of thing. Like just that there's some, not just with comedy, but like at the kind of the
at large.
Yeah, just in general. And it's like maybe his actions are seen kind of as more okay because you know that there's something a little off with him to begin with. Like,
right.
If you see like I don't know, just like a normal average Joe walk into that building and then like start, I don't know, to demand the same things he does. Like, it's just the way he's saying some things that makes it kind of clear. And that the people are like, okay, bud, like, let's get you out of the building, you know, and like, are you saying you're throwing me out?
And that's the other thing is that like he's not
yeah.
When it comes to Jerry Langford and it comes to Rita, at the very least, he's not. But when he's funny enough, compared to Masha, which they enable each other like crazy, but when it comes to Masha, he seems like the level-headed normal one. You know what I'm saying? And that's like that's bizarre because he's very much so not level-headed or normal. Sorry to use these blanket terms. I don't mean to say that like obsession and like it's very normal. I think part of the point of this movie is to kind of show that this sort of thing can take over anyone almost if you're not checked. Like, it seems like everything in Rupert's life is kind of enabling him. You know, he lives at home with his mom and dad, and he doesn't have to pay rent, and he doesn't have to he has no expenses. The dude doesn't have a car. The dude walks everywhere. He lives at home, doesn't have a job. His entire day-to-day is dedicated to trying to figure out how to make it on the Jerry Langford show. You know, these are not typical behaviors, you know, all put together. Any single one of these things, you know, unemployed, living at home, those often overlap, but like, they're not all one individually indicative of him having issues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, it's when you put them all together that it's like, oh, this man's got something going on, huh?
Yeah, it does.
Talking to himself, but playing Jerry as well. Whenever he like literally moves in that one scene and like laughs with himself and goes back and like,
dude, dude just doesn't have any friends, and like he doesn't even see like Masha as like an actual friend. Probably,
yeah. He looks at her as someone he like. We often also look for someone who can boost our ego a little bit. I think being around Masha makes him feel good about himself.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, well, I actually have a real relationship with Jerry. You know, I'm actually his friend. I actually was just talking to him.
Yeah,
you can't give him that letter, but I can, you know, or what. Like, yeah, he was like bragging to her all the time. What a movie, man. Yeah, I don't know, like, what, like, I had no clue on what direction it would go. And then that Joker hint, like, I was expecting him to blow his head off on live TV. I'm like, yeah, he's going to take him there. He's going to kill him. Like, he's going to just keep getting crazier and crazier. But I think I do prefer this ending much more. Like, it's not the Joker, you know. Like,
no, I think, and they're good for different reasons. Like, this has, I think, a lot more rewatch value than the Joker does, simply because it's not as just Joker is a little bit more in that Taxi Driver vein with a little bit more of a twinge of like sadness. Like you just like you feel icky about everything in the world when you're watching Joker. But it has that comic book movie thing where it's based on the Joker. So you're like, well, this is fun. You know, it's not. You know, if this was just a movie about some fucking guy who ends up doing this, if it's about Rupert Pupkin who goes and does all this, you start to go, oh wow, this is a good movie, but you know.
At the end of the day, one guy becomes the Joker, an actual like crazed villain of a superhero, and one is just a normal, average person in the real world that they make seem that could be anybody. Like, it's like, and there is no villain story afterwards. It's just, that's who he is. And this is not what happened. You know, I don't know. Maybe like this is based on like some, like, I don't know, like maybe they've had like some fans that were so crazy, you know,
yeah,
like,
right.
Or something like that, like heard stories in Hollywood of like fans that were so crazy that stalked them and were trying just to get it on their team, or I don't know, something like that. But
I loved looking at the writing credits for Paul D. Zimmerman. I don't know if you've taken a look yet. This was his second movie, but the third thing he ever wrote on, as the first thing was 50 episodes of Sesame Street.
Yeah, that's the first thing that caught my eye.
Dude wrote 50 episodes of Sesame Street.
From 1974 to 1977.
Then he wrote Lovers and Liars with Goldie Hawn, The King of Comedy with Bob De Niro, and 4 writing credits, and then one of them is just a re-release of The King of Comedy. Then Consuming Passions with Jonathan Pryce, the High Sparrow, actually in the lead role there.
Okay.
Just incredibly intriguing credits there. But
a tragic mishap at the chocolate factory results in candy lovers getting an unexpected extra in their sweets. The problem is that they want more. What the fuck is that movie? What is this dude writing? He writes Sesame Street, this... Okay, anyway. Yeah.
And the demented Willy Wonka movie?
Yeah, I mean, like that seems. Paul D. Zimmerman, he's got the range on him. Yeah, born in New York makes sense. Is Sesame Street in New York, or is it like a made up town? I've never thought about this. Where geographically Sesame Street would be.
I'm not sure. But I'm looking into the trivia for this movie now. The scene in Jerry's house is largely improvised. I know Scorsese encourages a lot of improvisation in his movies just to kind of get that raw, real feel, and you kind of feel that like Goodfellas and stuff like that. But there's a part where Kim Chan, when he can't open the door, and Jerry he's like, "What are you doing? I've been out here for 8 fucking minutes." You know, that was improvised. He actually couldn't open the door.
That was improvised?
He actually
like a really funny joke they put in there. That was actually really good. That got a laugh out of me whenever I was watching. Huh.
Yeah, apparently the guy who plays Jono, the butler that answers the door for them, he improvised the entire phone call with Jerry and stuff. Like there's I'm
my heart is hurting. You're like, I don't know. He's like, they're tearing up the house. They're doing. Oh my god, it's bad. You got to get here. Yeah, that was. Oh man, it was like a very tame start, and then just slowly kept ramping up until the eventual, kidnapping. As you do to get on your talk night show. But man, did he make his debut? And I would put more than 50% odds on him coming back bigger than he was before.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I guess, they said 5 years, which is kind of crazy for kidnapping someone, to only get 5 years in prison. But then he was in his fantasy world, he was let out in 2 years or 2.5 or something like that. I don't know. I feel like you'd go to jail longer for kidnapping with a fake gun. I don't know. Because kidnapping's a whole different thing than like murder straight up.
Right.
I feel like 5 years is kind of light to steal a human being. That's kind of crazy.
That is pretty nuts.
Yeah. Wow. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I should have expected this because the only other De Niro thing I've really seen is him in Taxi Driver, and this is just a little more tame.
And Goodfellas.
Tame yeah, true. Okay, fair.
Actually, Goodfellas was the first time after this that Scorsese and him worked together, which is 1990, so 7 years later, after they'd done 5 movies in 7 years together. Jeez. So, the story behind that is that Scorsese called this the most intensely unbearable filming process he ever did because of the embarrassment and awkwardness of everything. That him and De Niro he kind of credits them not working together for a while because this was so fucking weird. That's
wow. He played a guy that was so weird that they were like, all right, dude, yeah, I don't know, we can't really make a movie for a little bit. We gotta chill. We gotta take a break.
Trivia is kind of implying that Robert De Niro went method for Rupert Pupkin, which might have made this even a little bit more awkward for everybody involved.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if that's a good... I don't know. Well, it gives great performances. Yeah, that's why these are actors. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand how they can do it. Just this is their work. One day I show up to work and I'm a crazy psychopath. And then I go home and love my family and act like I didn't do anything like that at work. And yeah, what? They eat like us, they're normal people. It's just their job happens to be to play other people.
Yeah. No, I love even more when stuff is that sort of method goes into more improvisation and making it more tangible and real, Mm-hmm. Apparently Jerry Lewis improvised that scene you were talking about earlier. That entire time he was like, I'm just a human being.
What?
That was improv. That was not written.
Wow. Okay.
Which makes that a lot more raw and real as well.
Okay, Jerry.
And then my favorite scene, they improvised that pretty much entirely. Masha and Jerry when he's tied up.
Okay.
I just want to go crazy. Don't you want to go crazy?
Wow. Maybe the commentary's actually on, like, that you don't really see celebrities as humans. Like, maybe it's more, like, the movie's more about Jerry than it is about Rupert. And, like, he can't even walk in the streets, without being stopped and talked to by everybody.
Right. That was based on a true story also. Lewis basically directed that part of the movie. Whenever someone stops him and is like, will you talk to my son? He's on the other end of the phone. He's like, I'm not going to talk on the phone. And she goes, I hope you get cancer. That really happened.
What? That's a
really happened.
Oh my God. Holy, wow. Okay. Huh. Maybe that is more of the, I didn't really think of that as a focal point at all, but I'd say that's probably some of it. To be like, yeah, these are just people at the end of the day. Huh. Wow. Yeah, to be obsessed with another person's life. That's just, I don't know. I guess that's some, everyone falls in love with someone for something for a little bit. But, like, to actually, I don't know, try to invade their own personal life is, like, when it gets a little weird. Like, it's kind of weird to actually have posters of, like, other humans on your wall. Like, it's kind of like a shrine. You know?
At a certain point it becomes I have this idea in my head where, like, most of the stuff you'll find on my walls is not
like just regular humans.
It's fiction.
Yeah.
No, I don't worship the people in the pictures. I don't worship anything involved. I like the thing they're in. And that I've often made that argument about just fandom and specifically like stan culture. I mean, there's an age, I think, for me personally. And that's the thing, is that a lot of it can be perfectly harmless, and often it is. You just really, really love this person's music, and that's often the one that I'm the most interested by. Like, I haven't really talked about the Taylor Swift concert on the podcast at all, but it was an event. I had a great time, obviously, but every single movement she made warranted a scream. From everybody in the fucking stadium. I've been to football games at Arrowhead Stadium, the loudest stadium on earth, where they broke records for sound. It was louder than any of that. It was.
Yeah.
And it was like, there was a moment where after she sang a song, she just kind of looked around the audience for like 2.5 minutes, and all anybody did was fucking cheer, because she kept looking at different parts of the stadium, and they'd go fucking nuts because she's looking that direction. And
that's nuts. Yeah.
I'm like, to achieve that level of fame, I don't know how you don't gain the biggest fucking ego of all fucking time. That's why, like, I don't know how you can possibly be humble after an experience like that. I know sure as shit I wouldn't be.
Looking in the direction got the crowd to
go.
And it makes sense. And it makes sense. Like, and
I understand. I understand that y'all love this person's music. That's what that's about. You know what I'm saying? That, like, you all love this person's music, and I've grown to enjoy that music quite a great deal because of Emily. Emily loves Taylor Swift, and I've grown to appreciate her more than I ever have. I've talked to her about this. There's not a single person alive who, if they looked at me, I'd scream.
Yeah.
And I know a concert's a different setting, but there's not a single artist that if they looked in my direction at a concert, I'd scream. And I guess maybe I'm not maybe I'm not like the whole one of the biggest things about this podcast, like with peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. If I met Keanu Reeves, really, really good odds if I saw him, I don't even fucking talk to him. I'm just like, oh my God, that's fucking Keanu Reeves right there. Like, and I'm just like, well, that's good enough for me.
I've had that internal conflict of like, if I did see someone who I really, really wanted to meet, but they were like busy, they were like obviously like short on time, like, would it be better for me just to be like, oh my God, like there they are and they're just living their life, I don't need to interrupt them, or like, do I just stop and be like, oh, holy fucking shit, like, and be that crazy fan that they get all the time, like
and I think there's a way to handle it. The way Rupert handles it is not the way to handle it, and that's the thing. Like, it's one thing to be a fan who's like, oh my God, I love your work, thank you so much. Frankly, that should be the extent of an interaction with a famous person if you see them just out and about. If they want to push the conversation forward after that, cool.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I love your work, thank you so much. You probably don't need to say more than that. And they probably hear that a lot, but that never hurts to hear. That's never something that's like, oh, I'm so sick of people telling me they enjoy the things I do. Like just and then if it's an interaction like that and a famous person gets mad at you, they're the dick. If you become too familiar and you're like, hey, you want to go grab a fucking coffee with me? And they're like, no, I really don't want to do that. Thanks.
Yeah.
That's reasonable. They really don't want to do that. Like, it's just,
yeah, that's true. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I guess this movie is a handbook on what not to do.
Oh, big time.
Like, trying to pull out a lesson or like a moral, it's like, well, here's just what not to do. This is bad.
I mean, like, it's just I'm gonna bring it back to Taylor Swift a lot because I've got a lot of direct paths to news surrounding Taylor Swift. She went to a wedding a couple weekends ago, and there was a crowd of thousands of people outside that wedding.
Oh no!
Because she was there.
Oh no!
Do any of you think she wants to come outside and say hi?
No.
That's the shit that I'm like, screaming at a concert, that's cool. Like, I can't be like, oh my God, shut the fuck up. We're at a concert. You're having a good time. I'm not going to rain on your parade like that. You love this person's music, do you? Mm-hmm. If you are seeking them out, you have a problem.
Yeah.
You have a problem.
Yeah, that's not good. At someone else's wedding, too.
Someone else's wedding.
Like, her wedding, even though it's still fucking crazy to go and, like, seek out...
Even that you'd understand more.
That I'd understand a little more if it was her wedding. She's just at someone else's wedding. So you're just inconveniencing her and whoever her friend is that's getting married. Like, yeah, that's nuts. Just that
I can't imagine... And then another even layer to that is like whenever there's like a celebrity staying at a hotel, and then like the street outside that hotel fills up because people are like, oh my God, this person's staying here. That might be even further up the list, like yeah,
I mean, like the most famous person of all time, maybe not all time, I guess that's probably like Jesus, but like, at least in our lifetime for sure, is Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson, yeah.
Like, seeing the amount of people that were outside of his hotels or, like, at his shows that literally fainted. They would have medical people on standby, not because of Travis Scott concerts and people just being too rough and rowdy, just because him coming out people on will stage,
pass out.
People will. Like, it is a for sure. Like, just it happens every show. Holy fuck. Like,
and now we are talking about something that's a bit different than obviously what the world's most famous comedian is going through, But like, I've heard Conan O'Brien talk about like at times where he's been like he can't go anywhere without someone being like, that's a 6'4" pale redheaded man.
That's true.
Bro stands out in the crowd. That's Conan O'Brien. You know what I'm saying? you don't even have to be that familiar with Conan O'Brien to know who Conan O'Brien is. And like,
that's the thing about being a talk show host is that you bring in all the like fandoms of everybody because you have everyone on your show, and like they'll see that interview and they'll be like, "Oh my god, you interviewed my favorite celebrity one time," or like whatever. It's like
he's also just a very funny fucking man. You know, I'm a huge Conan O'Brien fan, but and that's the other thing is that like, are there different professions that somebody's famous in that you would feel more comfortable approaching them in because, you know? Like when it comes, frankly, I will say this: I would feel a lot more comfortable approaching Conan O'Brien than I would fucking, Keanu Reeves. You know, like I was making an example just a little bit ago with Keanu. Like, there's something that feels more approachable and more relatable about someone like Conan. So it's like maybe this person would be more okay with, and still they're probably not very okay with that. Like they're a stranger, you know, and that's you don't just weird. Approach a lot of strangers.
It's like all fame isn't the same fame. Like movie fame is different from like the fame that like Drake has, or like, you know, like a music, like I don't know. It's like fame is sort of different depending on, because like I'd rather, like if I saw like Kid Cudi, like just chilling, I don't know, I think I'd go up to Cudi before I'd go up to like an actor. An actor seems like, I don't know. That's like, that's
when it comes to musicians and stuff, there's an honestness that they've had with the audience. They've told you how they feel. They express themselves, maybe not directly to you, but because it was in a song, directly to you. You know? Like, especially an artist like Cudi, who's been very, very plain about his mental health struggles. I understand standing a musician more than I do an actor and actress, because at least that person's been honest with you.
Yeah.
You don't fucking know an actor.
Yeah, they're playing a character.
The entire time. Every single time they've ever done anything besides maybe like Harrison fucking Ford. Like,
how do we know that any actor isn't actually just acting all the time?
All the fucking time. How do we know how fucking terrified I'd be to be in the same room as Tom Cruise?
Dude, that would be scary.
I'd leave that establishment, and I think, like, I'd be like, oh my god, that's Tom fucking Cruise. I have to go. You know, I wouldn't be like, well, it's time to go talk to Tom.
Like I'm in some sort of danger. I don't know what it is, but my life is just more at risk being here. That there is a different kind of like actor. Like, I don't know, that does feel different than just like a musician or something.
Or a comedian. A comedian, like, you know, like they're very real. Funny, but
it's raw.
That means they're probably funny. You know, it's not like they're playing a character who's funny.
Yeah, you have to be funny. There's no faking it. There's no faking being funny. Like, you can, if you have your own talk show, then maybe you turn the applause button on and you do that. But to get to that point, even in the first place, you have to be. And hey, I mean, Rupert, he kind of put on a good show. It might have just been they were on a talk show and they're, you know, supposed to laugh at all.
There's a little light that lights up that says applaud or laugh or stuff like that.
They show that?
No, not in this movie, but in general.
Okay.
Like, so if you're on a set of a sitcom, they turn on a little light that's like, laugh now.
For him? You think they were? Oh, okay.
Oh, for Rupert? I don't know. I think for a talk show, and again, it depends on the type of show you're watching. Like, if he's going to die on the vine out there, they're going to hang him out to dry, because that's also kind of funny.
Yeah.
You know, like, if a dude flops, it's kind of funny that he's flopping. You know, like, you feel bad, but you're like, oh no, this poor fucking guy.
You're laughing at him. Yeah, you start to kind of like laugh at him. Like,
well, and the comedian also has a relationship with the audience where, like, if they're not laughing, he stops having the energy he's having. You know, Rupert, he performs up there, and I think it's because the audience is reciprocating. You know, the audience is laughing at him.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, that'd be terrifying. Like, I've gotten up on stage in front of that many people, I guess, like one time. Like, and it was with a group of with 30 other men, boys at that time, I guess. Just for a high school fucking show. And I was scared shitless. Like, everyone was in the room, like, shitting their pants. Like, I don't know how many people had, like, diarrhea, like, right before the show. Like, we were all having to shit so bad. Some people even threw up, like, before because they were so nervous. We were trying to play songs to hype us up. But, like,
I mean, the only thing that I've ever had that I can even compare to that is, like, the first, when I was a sophomore and I was the backup center on the football team, and the guy who played center got injured the night before the game. So, like, I went the entire week not mentally preparing that I was going to be playing Friday night football that week. And then
give it a roll as well.
I literally got a false start the first play I did. Damn. I got a penalty immediately because I couldn't hear the quarterback. All I could hear was people in our student section going, and I was like, oh my fucking God, this can't be real, you know? And then, it sort of sinks in and you get used to it. But it is wild to be in front of a crowd because you are so nervous. You have to have an insane level of confidence in what you do, you know?
And then to take it a step further and to try to make people laugh. Like, that's hard. That's
the hardest thing there is to do.
You're going up on stage. Like,
people are expecting to laugh. It'd be one thing if people didn't know what they were getting into, you know, but they're there because they know you are supposed to be funny.
That's like, I don't know. Stand-up might be like,
because might be the toughest gig in show business.
Most people can't even just talk comfortably on stage. Like, people start sweating and like stuttering over their words, and like just even a class presentation that you're giving over like the fucking mitochondria, you get nervous over.
We all know about things, you know, like
you get nervous over that shit, you know. Like, that's a profession right there. That's like crazy. That's talent. Like, there's like actual, like, you gotta just be a little crazy. I don't know. Like,
which grants Rupert this interesting. I mean, obviously he has absurd confidence because he's delusional. You know what I'm saying? Like, he thinks, he already thinks he's the king of comedy. He just hasn't been seen by enough people. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what he thinks. He's like, I'm the funniest man alive. Just nobody's heard me tell jokes. And what's funny is that if he had paid his dues, as Jerry tells him at the beginning of maybe he would have been fine. Maybe he would have became a working comedian, but he aimed too high as fast as he possibly could. And like, I don't know, man.
Bold plan.
Bold fucking idea. He's going full, like, he's literally doing, we're watching Game of Thrones right now. He's literally doing what Jorah did to Tyrion. He's like, well, if I want to be friends with the queen again,
God damn it,
better kidnap this guy, you know?
Yeah. It's the only thing he saw. I mean, it
a little different, but
worked.
Still.
It probably worked. Today, though, that would pop
Today,
off.
it no fucking question.
There would be petitions to get that guy out of jail fast.
This is ridiculously fucked up, and I'm sorry I'm taking it here. Kyle Rittenhouse is famous. He's the guy who shot and killed 2 people at during protests.
That's right. Yeah, I've seen his face. Yeah, now that...
Yes, you have seen his face. Most people have seen his face.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. You might not know him by name, but if you're on social media, if you're on the internet, you know that guy's face. You've seen him because right-wing podcasts have him on. And people are like, you're a champion of freedom, man. You're like...
Oh my God.
That obviously that's a far more fucked up version of this. But if that guy's famous, Rupert Pupkin would be fucking famous. You know what I'm saying?
I'd rather Rupert be famous.
Exactly.
He just wants to just show the world his stand-up comedy, you know? That's all the man wants. He just wants to make people laugh. I'll take that any day. Yeah, Rupert. I don't know. You know, if we do like the Dream Blunt or Nightmare Blunt, I don't know where he falls. You know, I feel like he wouldn't be too bad. You know,
I feel like he could benefit from some weed.
Yeah, he could chill. He needs to.
Yeah, the main problem with Rupert is that he's never smoked a joint in his life. You know, he's never taken an Eddie. Bro's never taken a puff at a cart.
Wow. You know, for some reason I was trying to think of a universe where this happened first and then Taxi Driver, because that's just the natural progression of crazy. Like he had to,
right,
you know, or whatever. But maybe he was in Taxi Driver first. He went through therapy. Wait, did he? Oh no, he's dead. No, never mind.
We don't know that for sure. We think that movie also ends in a delusion of some sort, where Jodie Foster's or that girl's family thinks he's a hero, and you know all that. That one is a much less clear delusion than this is.
Okay, so maybe he's still alive. So maybe he actually just gets help after Taxi Driver.
Well, that's another example of what Taxi Driver and this have in common.
Yeah, the endings are kind of a little similar.
A little weird, but they're also, the protagonist thinks he's the good guy. He thinks he won. He thinks he did it.
Yeah.
You know?
He thought he scored big. He was like, like going to prison, and he's like, I did it. Like, I absolutely crushed. And
to take it to how much this clearly influenced Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix in the Joker, whenever everybody's got that fucking mask on and they're tearing up police cars and they're worshiping the Joker, and then that chick's like, what are you laughing at? He's like, you wouldn't fucking get it. You know, like, it's in his fucking head, you know, like it's what they're imagining. It's what the protagonist thinks they've done.
Whoa.
And maybe they're making a bigger point about that. You know, it's just like, you can convince yourself you're good if you've done enough in your mind to do it. Like, just each individual person has this point where they are, if you get there, if you push it there, you could really fucking lose it, buddy.
Yeah, what's the Heath Ledger Joker line? That chaos, you know, or what, you just need the little push. You know, it's like gravity. You just need a little push, you know, and then you go down your road of just anarchism and fucking crazy town. But I mean, nothing.
You think you could just steal from us?
Yeah. And walk away.
Yeah.
God. Yeah. Oh, I can't wait till we get there.
Well, that's what Rupert thought he could do. Well, and that's what's even crazier is he knew he wasn't walking away.
I think he knew. No, he knew
exactly what this was going to result in.
Yeah, he knew. Yeah, like he wasn't that like unaware. Like that's the last line he says. You know, he'd rather be the king for a night than a schmuck.
Yeah, he was like, I'm going to get arrested after this show. Mm-hmm. Know that for a fact. He had all the confidence in the world, though. We have Jerry tied up somewhere, so like y'all can't fuck with me. You know, like if you fuck with me, that guy dies, and that sucks.
And then Jerry just got out on his own.
Yeah.
Anyways. Like, I love it.
Masha was like, yeah, I'll cut you out.
Like, yeah, she was like, you know, just getting all, sang to him, like serenaded him and everything.
Got really horny.
And she was like, oh my God, wait, he actually wants this. And like, he just asked to be untaped. He was like, untape me. He's like, really? He's like, yeah, like, untape me. And then just instantly,
once he realizes the power he has over these people, he takes advantage of it. Like,
Guns
they will do anything he asks.
Literally shoots her like twice too, like a little like airsoft.
He's
gun,
ready to kill her.
Yeah, I think he shot the ceiling first. I think he just shot in the air.
Oh, really?
First to make sure, but then like, or maybe like to her side, and then he literally aims right at her and then shoots her twice. Like fuck you. I mean, he does slap her. Yeah, he does slap her before he walks out. And you know, I am one. You know. A man should never hit a woman, like, really, you know. But, like, in this
smack the shit out of this person, no matter who they are.
It's fully warranted. Yeah, I don't know. It was just on the way out, too. You know, it was one and done. That's it.
If I've been sitting in a fucking chair
that many candles around.
I am almost worried that you are going to do something that will change the trajectory of my life. You know, like
yeah, that's, I don't know.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna knock the shit out of you one time at least.
Like, usually, every time a woman gets hit in a movie, it like actually takes me by surprise, and I'm like, "Holy shit, they fucking put that in there." This one, I'm like, "Oh, he's gonna hit her." Like, I'm like, "There's no way he doesn't walk out of this room."
Smack the shit out of this.
Yeah,
person,
I'm like,
you know?
I don't know. I was like, "Oh, he's definitely hitting. He's doing something." I'm like, something's happening. After he walks out of here, but
dude, no, it's a fucking movie, man. Do you think we're ready to give it a rating?
I think I might be there. Yeah, I was trying to think if I missed any other part of the movie, but I mean, like, really, just
pretty
when
simple progression.
Yeah, he's just on his grind, and then like it doesn't really go crazy until they just kidnap him. Like I mean, it's all pretty mundane, and him just trying to get into his office. I guess he went to his house, getting a little step up. And you're like, it was
progressively. You're to the office, goes directly to his home.
Yeah.
Kidnaps him, and it's just like that sort of the intervals at which he was like, okay, well, if this is what it's going to take, this is what it's going to take. You should have just listened to the tape, Jerry. Is basically what he says.
True.
Is that what this is about? We can listen to it right now. He's like, no, we can't.
Man. Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad I'm just kind of going into all these blind. This one was,
I'm excited.
Was really fun to go in blind too.
Especially if this was the conversation we had about the King of Comedy. I just think that we've got a lot to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to make it clear before we get to the rating that I don't have any actual problem with anybody who is a fan of something or a fan of a person.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you do you enjoy what you enjoy. It's when you take it to these levels that it's actually a problem. When it starts affecting your life and other people's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe take a step back. If it's not affecting anybody else's life, hey, do you
anything
think?
Can be an addiction. Anything. It's just I don't know. It's always good to. Yeah, just like I was kind of crazy about people like back in the day, like in high school. I had some people.
And in high school,
that I like. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not really judging high schoolers for being really big fans of something.
Yeah.
When you are Rupert Pupkin's age.
Yeah. How old is this guy?
I gotta guess 30.
Yeah. He's getting there.
Let's see how old Bob De Niro was at this time.
In 1982.
Yeah. De Niro was almost 40. He was 39.
Wow. Okay. Yeah,
dude looked great for him.
Yeah.
I mean, 40 is not old by any means, but I would have put 25 to 30 at him, actually, if I'm being honest with myself.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not 25, 30 to 35, probably more right. But 40, I don't know.
Wow. Huh. I want to see the sequel to this. Gets out of prison, or him just going in his own prison cell, just writing down or him just performing the sketch in the cell.
He got shivved in prison because he would keep everybody up at night because he'd just start doing stand up, and when they'd like boo and jeer, he'd think that they were celebrating. So he'd just keep going, "Thank you, everybody. I'm here for another 3 years." You know, like that's like that's what he says every single night until he gets stabbed, probably on his like third or fourth day.
Damn. Yeah, he probably doesn't have a good time in prison, huh?
Can't imagine so. Rupert Pupkin does not seem the type to make friends in prison. I want maybe the actual sequel to this is him heading over to like Jersey, and he's actually his character from Goodfellas after this.
He's like, fuck it. I've been nice for too long. I got to get in a different business. I got to go a different direction here. Yeah. No, I don't know. It is funny just to think of like an actor's cinematic universe,
Oh yeah,
like
it's always fun.
every role they've ever done. It's all actually...
Same with the director, like just
yeah,
the idea
like
that this and The Wolf of Wall Street, roughly around the same time as that's set in like 85, 88, like late 80s, early 90s,
okay.
like just kind of like,
wow, huh? Yeah, this is happening around the same time. I could see this in New York.
Yeah.
New York's a big place.
Big place, big place in New York.
A lot of shit goes down. A lot of people, millions of people. They're bound to be one Rupert Pupkin in there somewhere. God, it's still I can't. I don't know why. It's just a tongue twister. He even says it. He's like, yeah, people often mispronounce it and misspell it or whatever.
Oh yeah,
I'm doing it. You knew, but yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't think there's much more.
Nah, I don't think so either. What
on the movie?
What are we thinking enjoyment wise though? How you feeling about it?
9 is too high.
I'd agree.
8's feeling more right. Like if it's in the 7s, it'd be like a 7.5, 7.75. But I feel like it's either a 7.75 or like an 8.
Yeah, I'm comfortable throwing an 8 at this. I think you could even persuade me to an 8.25. But I think that since we're on those kind of opposite sides of it, I think an 8's a good place to split it. I think that's
my gut was around an 8.
Yeah, no, me too. Like you said, 9 was too high, and I completely agree with you there. But
7's too low. Yeah, 9 was too high. 7 was too low.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see. We gave The Prestige an 8.
Yeah, well, I guess, yeah.
We gave The Royal Tenenbaums an 8.5. We gave Bottle Rocket an 8.5. Rushmore an 8.75. Yeah, The Prestige is the only... The Prestige appears to be our lowest movie enjoyment-wise, which is kind of astonishing.
Yeah. Westerns just have a different feel. Yeah, I guess, yeah. 8.2 or 8.5 the next lowest? Yeah, 8.5. Okay. Huh.
Yeah, no, I think I'd be comfortable throwing this at an 8. And frankly, I would probably watch The Prestige before this, so maybe even a 7.75 does feel good. I
think I would go to The Prestige before this. Yeah, if I'm being honest. I just like The Prestige a whole lot more anyways.
Right.
I think that enjoyment rating for, well, I don't know. It is still kind of around there. Like for me,
no, here's my thing: is that this is one of those movies where I think 7.75 and 8. Like I think I would lean towards an 8. It's hardly a difference, but I do think that it's closer to that than it is a 7.75. Even though I would revisit The Prestige sooner, I think I actually had a more actively fun time throughout the runtime watching this than I would The Prestige. The Prestige is interesting and it's kind of whoa, I think The Prestige has more going for it on paper.
Yeah, it has The Prestige has the cool mystery of it to back it up.
Yeah, the magic and everything. This is
very
straightforward.
Yeah, very simple, and it's still that good. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I think an 8's a fair bet. But that leads us to a critical rating. Where's your gut taking you with this?
I would say, looking at other ones here. Yeah, I'd say it's better made than Bottle Rocket. Better than Rushmore.
Oh, I'd say so for sure. I think you can make an argument that this is
Royal Tenenbaums.
That might be the ceiling.
Yeah.
This movie's well written, but I don't think it's. I think Scorsese doesn't have a bad looking movie. This is not one of his best looking movies. It has good shots, it has standout moments, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
There are very few shots that wallop me. It's kind of hard to pick one out besides a couple only one of them's obvious, and it's that one we talked about earlier with him standing in front of the black and white crowd and the white walls and stuff. There are some ones in between. There's one when Jerry Langford's leaving his office building and it's like there's like glass on both sides of him, and his reflection kind of goes out both ways across the screen and like cut up pieces almost, and that's really interesting. But like, there's not a lot that I would say visually stimulates me about this movie. De Niro's performance is astonishing. I think Scorsese's direction of the performances in this movie are awesome. You know, De Niro was actually concerned about the casting of Jerry Lewis because he didn't know that he would be able to bring the heat the way he did. The critically received dramatic sort of role he had to do. And apparently De Niro kind of ate his words on that. He was like, "Oh yeah, no, he did it." You know, like it's he had a really good performance in this movie, I thought.
Oh yeah, De Niro was. I like De Niro in this a whole lot. And yeah, this is what their 5th time working together. Scorsese.
Yeah, no, I mean like I've seen
chemistry by now. You know, like this is.
I'm thinking to other De Niro roles, and De Niro does his best work with Scorsese, and there's not even really a runner-up in that category. It's kind of like either De Niro is doing Scorsese movies and being one of the best actors alive, or is in a bunch of schlock to pay the bills, is kind of like what he does. But
what do I know him from? Like, what have I seen? I don't think I've really seen much.
Did you ever see Dirty Grandpa with Zac Efron and De Niro? And
I don't think so. No.
I'm trying to think. Meet the Fockers.
That sounds a little more familiar. That would have been a while ago, though. Yeah, no. I don't think I've really seen a lot with him.
The Intern with Anne Hathaway. He's done a lot, like a ton of movies. But then he does a Scorsese thing, and you're like, wait, is this dude one of the best actors of all time? And it's similar. I think De Niro's a better actor than him in almost every regard, but it's similar to Adrian Brody with Wes Anderson, where like if you only see Adrian Brody in Wes Anderson movies, you go, oh, this guy is like so fucking good. And then you see him in other stuff, and you're just like, oh, okay, yeah, he's fine. You know, like it's.
Yeah, like in King Kong.
Yeah, exactly. 2 years later, he does the Darjeeling Limited and like blows himself out of the water. You know, like it's just it's not even fucking close.
That progress nuts. Yeah.
But yeah, like De Niro has a similar working relationship, I would say, as Adrian Brody does, where he'll do a Wes Anderson movie and it'll be fucking awesome, and then he'll do other things, you know, and that'll be that. But no, De Niro, I will say, I think he's just been in more iconic shit. He's had more iconic roles. He's a very talented man. You can say whatever you want about Taxi Driver. I'm not a huge fan of the movie, but it's not because De Niro's not good in it.
That's true.
You know, De Niro is incredible in that movie.
People love that movie.
They do. But yeah, critically, I don't think that I would. I don't think I could go Royal Tenenbaums. I think Royal Tenenbaums is a better movie. I think it's more well written. I think it's more impressively photographed. There are more performances that establish just how good they are. Whereas like third fiddle here, I mean Masha's probably third, but like fourth on the call sheet, Diane Abbott as Rita. She's fine. You know, it's not like it's like, oh no, man, she's pulling me out of the movie. No, she's not. But like it's It's not like she doesn't get the material to deliver a jaw-dropping performance, whereas the Royal Tenenbaums has like fucking 10 people with enough material to put on incredible performances.
Fair. Very.
So I think I might end up going 8s across the board on this bad boy.
A little bit better than Rushmore?
Yeah.
Do we have any 8 critically? We do not. It would be the first 8 critically. But a little bit better than Rushmore, and a little bit more than Bottle Rocket. And I think I agree with that.
I do too.
Rushmore could give it a run for its money, maybe. But I think I'd sooner watch Rushmore just because I like Wes Anderson and I love Jason Schwartzman. I love Bill Murray, and it's an easier movie to watch because I'm not cringing while watching it. You know, there's a lot of like secondhand embarrassment watching Rupert Pupkin.
You don't get a lot of that in Rushmore, you know.
Mm-mm.
In fact, you're kind of impressed in the moments that you should almost feel a little embarrassed for Jason Schwartzman's character. You know, whenever he's like striking out with the woman who is much older than him, who has never given him a chance. And you're kind of supposed to be like, damn, I don't know. But he's like,
man, he didn't get it, man.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're like, you're just kind of like, oh man, he's got the game, man. He's not going to get this done, but it's not like he's going up there and just whiffing, you know, like in a different scenario, he'd be charismatic and there's no scenario in which Rupert Friend, I keep saying Rupert Friend, incredible actor. He's in Asteroid City. He's Montana. Methinks that these people around here, you know, this alien ain't doing nothing that's wrong, you know, like, he's scribbling up a little warble. But that's Rupert Friend. Awesome. Rupert Pupkin, there's nothing charismatic about Rupert Pupkin.
Yeah. I don't know. Being like Rushmore at a 7.75 critically, kinda
makes you want to down it a little bit.
I don't know if I could put it above Rush. Well, I think I could. I could either put it on the same level or right above. I think.
I think the right above instinct is good. I'm pretty I love Rushmore, but I don't think that there's even a single performance in Rushmore that holds a candle to De Niro in this. Okay. And I know that's not all the movie is, but
that's true.
Pretty fucking important. And De Niro, you could make an argument that what De Niro does here is one of the best acting performances we've seen in every single director spotlight thing we've done.
Okay. I do like that.
And I think that carries the movie quite a bit. Like, I think that De Niro alone kind of makes up for the lack of a visual marvel. You know, like, there's nothing in this, like we said, there's nothing in this movie that makes me like, oh man, I love looking at this. Nah. De Niro's just so good in it. Like, that's kind of the extent of how good this movie is, and I think it carries it far. If you have a different person in this role, it's not an enjoyable movie.
Yeah. Who else plays Rupert Pupkin other than Robert De Niro? Maybe even modern times. It doesn't have to be the time, correct?
Right.
Who else could play? Maybe Joaquin Phoenix.
Maybe. But even then, like, this is a difference between Joaquin Phoenix and Robert De Niro, is that kind of, I don't want to talk shit on Joaquin, but like kind of on sight, you already feel weird about it. Whereas like Robert De Niro, like, this man's got a very particular look with the haircut and the mustache and stuff. But even then, he could be a normal guy. He could. There's very few scenarios in which you see Joaquin Phoenix where you go, I might have a normal conversation with this man. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like there's small talk with Joaquin Phoenix. There could be small talk with Robert De Niro. Yeah,
Robert De Niro could be just like an accountant somewhere.
Yeah, he could.
Like, he could. Joaquin Phoenix, like, probably only an actor, you know? I don't know. Like,
he was born for this.
Yeah.
There's not a lot else I think that man would do.
He was born for the theater.
Yeah.
But, wow, okay. 8s across the board. That makes the average easy.
Yep. That's an 80%. How's that fare against Rotten Tomatoes? I'll send you to Rotten Tomatoes. I'll do IMDb.
All right. Let's find out. Rotten Tomato gives it a 90%.
I thought they'd be very, very nice.
Ways, critically and the audience. Gives it
Gets 90. A 7.8 on IMDb, so more close to where we landed for IMDb. I love when we split that difference. It's one of my favorite ones. You know, like IMDb's lower, Rotten Tomatoes higher, or vice versa. I like being in the middle. But
yeah, apparently a lesser known Scorsese movie.
Apparently so. Which I mean, like, I'd heard of it, but it was mostly because of Joker, because I'd heard around that time it was like Robert De Niro might as well be playing his character from The King of Comedy. Like, that's what I heard, and I was like, that's cool. I'll have to check out The King of Comedy.
We
did indeed, and it's a great place to start. I think we're only going up from here, and I can't fucking wait. I'm so excited for Friday when we get to talk. After hours. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, this month we just started. It's Thrones and Scorsese. A little bit of a twinkle of West Shorts, in there, for good measure. And then we'll, I don't know, but it's a good month. We got a lot of Scorsese to look forward to.
I'm so excited.
I'm
so
ready.
excited. 1 down, 5 to go in anticipation of Killers of the Flower Moon.
Mm-hmm.
But with that, if you would, head to patreon.com/PennyBloomPod, where you'll find over 50 hours of exclusive content for $3 a month. You can support this podcast financially, which is huge because it costs me money and I don't make any off of it unless it's over there. I also write reviews for the $1.50 tier. It's a lot of fun. Head to Twitter, follow at PennyBloomPod, follow on Instagram at PennyBloomPodcast. Remember to leave a 5-star rate and review wherever it is you might be listening, and to keep coming back. We love having you here. We'll do it no matter who's listening, no matter how many people are listening. But it's nice to know that people are, and the downloads are a very, very big factor in that. So remember to keep downloading episodes as well. We're on a string of good months. It'd be nice if October continued that trend. It'd be very cool. Yeah. Come back this Friday for After Hours. Come back next Monday for Winter is Blooming, our Game of Thrones show.
Mm-hmm.
And this is all we're doing on Wednesday and Friday for the next 3 weeks. And then one more Wednesday after that for Killers of the Flower Moon. Or I guess technically 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Because Wednesday to Wednesday to Wednesday. It's 3 Wednesdays, but it's 2 weeks that separate them. Always kind of boggles my mind.
It's like counting the day that you're on right now.
Yeah, so it's
like
kind of weird.
Somebody, yeah.
It'll take place in 3 separate weeks, but there will be an episode in 2 weeks. I don't know, man. Regardless, yeah, just keep coming back. And if you're into the director spotlight stuff, we've already done 3 of them. We did Wes Anderson, which is our longest one. We did every movie in his filmography in anticipation of Asteroid City. We did Christopher Nolan. We did 3 films in anticipation of Oppenheimer. And then for Greta Gerwig, we did her 2 solo direction features with Lady Bird and Little Women in anticipation of Barbie. So we're getting back into the swing of things. We got Scorsese this month, Fincher next month, and Michael Mann in December, and I'm so very excited for all of that. Remember to stand in solidarity with the SAG-AFTRA and the WGA as they continue their struggle against the studios. I assume we're recording a bit in advance, but it doesn't seem like there's an end in sight. Hopefully there is. Hopefully this is just this is a dated. Maybe this will be dated. That'd be nice. I'd love if the studios just went ahead and gave actors and writers what they deserve. Unfortunately, doesn't appear that that's happening. The actors and writers deserve every little bit they're asking for, and I pray they do not give in any regard. I hope the studios, I hope they just can't take it. That'd be ideal. But yeah, and you should hope so too. Frankly. Oh no, I'm not getting any new TV or new movies. Fuck off. Some people aren't getting money. Get a job. I don't know. Go work if you can. But yeah. Anywho, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, peace, love, and bloom. And better to be king for a night than schmuck for life.